Why building a business is one of the greatest personal development journeys. Hello, everyone, it's Brad Case. Well, today I want to talk about something that I don't think gets discussed enough in the business world. Most people think starting a business is about money, they think it's about making more income, quitting their job, having freedom, working from home, and creating a lifestyle on their own terms. And don't get me wrong, those things are incredibly important. I talk about financial freedom all the time because I genuinely believe people deserve choices in life. But after years of being in business, coaching people, and watching entrepreneurs succeed and fail, I've realized something much deeper. Building a business isn't just a financial journey, it's a personal development journey. In fact, I believe it's one of the greatest personal development journeys a person can ever go on. Because building a business doesn't simply change your bank account, it changes you. It forces you to become someone different. And that's where the real transformation happens. You see, when you start a business, you think you're building a brand, you think you're building an audience, you think you're building products and systems. But what you don't realize is that your business is quietly building you at the same time, because business exposes everything. It exposes your discipline, it exposes your patience, it exposes your consistency, it exposes your confidence, it exposes your fears, it exposes every excuse you've ever made. You can't hide from it. The marketplace is brutally honest. You can tell yourself that you'll post content tomorrow. You can tell yourself you'll start next week. You can tell yourself you're waiting for the right time, but your business reflects your actions, not your intentions. And that can be uncomfortable because most of us have areas of our lives that need developing. I know I certainly did. And if I'm honest, I still do. The business journey has a way of shining a light on the parts of ourselves that need work. Maybe you struggle with consistency. Maybe you struggle with self-belief. Maybe you struggle with rejection. Maybe you struggle with discipline. Business has a way of putting all of those things under a microscope, and that's why so many people quit. Not because the business opportunity wasn't good, not because the products didn't work, not because there wasn't enough money to be made. They quit because the process demanded that they grow, and growth is uncomfortable. Nobody likes uncertainty. Nobody enjoys rejection. Nobody likes putting themselves out there and hearing silence. Nobody likes making mistakes publicly, but that's where transformation lives. Growth never happens inside your comfort zone. Every entrepreneur that you admire today has had to go through seasons of uncertainty. They've had moments of doubt. They've questioned themselves. They've failed. They've been criticized. They've wondered whether it was all worth it. But every one of those moments was shaping their character.
Because business teaches resilience. It teaches you to keep moving when results are slow. It teaches you to keep believing when evidence isn't yet visible. It teaches you to keep showing up even when nobody is watching. And I think that's one of the greatest lessons entrepreneurship can ever teach us. Because in life, not everything happens immediately. Some things take time, some things require faith, some things require patience, and business teaches all of those qualities. It teaches emotional control, it teaches delayed gratification, it teaches responsibility, it teaches leadership. In fact, I believe business forces you to become a leader, even if you never intended to become one.
Because the moment you decide to build something meaningful, responsibility enters the room. You become responsible for your actions, your decisions, your standards, your growth, your future. You stop blaming circumstances. You stop waiting for permission. You start taking ownership. And ownership changes people because the truth is this: your income can only grow to the level that you're willing to grow. Your results often mirror your identity. Your business usually reflects the person behind it. That's why I say entrepreneurship is personal development in disguise, because the person earning £10,000 a month thinks differently from the person earning £1,000 a month. The person leading a team thinks differently from the person who only thinks about themselves. The person creating impact thinks differently from the person who is only focused on survival. The external result is often a reflection of internal growth. And here's something I've learned. The greatest reward in business isn't always the money. The money is wonderful. The freedom is incredible. The opportunities are amazing. But the real reward is who you become. You become more resilient, more courageous, more disciplined, more patient, more strategic. You become someone who can handle challenges that once overwhelmed you. You become someone who can lead, someone who can serve, someone who can create opportunities not only for yourself, but for others. And one day you wake up and realize something. The person you are today would have amazed the person you were a few years ago. That's powerful. Because at the beginning of the journey, you wanted more income. But somewhere along the way, you gained confidence, you gained wisdom, you gained perspective, you gained belief, you gained character. And those things are priceless. I truly believe that business is one of God's greatest classrooms for personal growth, because it develops things in you that comfort never could. It teaches perseverance, it teaches stewardship, it teaches responsibility, it teaches faith. Sometimes God develops your character before he expands your opportunities. And maybe that's exactly where you are right now. Maybe the season you're in isn't punishment. Maybe it's preparation. Maybe your business isn't failing. Maybe it's developing something inside you that you'll need for the next level. Because the person who reaches their goals without growth often loses everything, but the person who grows into their goals can sustain them. So if you're in a difficult season right now, keep building, keep learning, keep growing. Don't just ask yourself, how do I make more money? Ask yourself, who do I need to become? Because I genuinely believe that's the better question. Because the business you're trying to build may actually be building you first. And when you understand that, every setback becomes a lesson, every challenge becomes development, every obstacle becomes preparation, and the journey itself becomes the reward. Thank you for watching. I'm Brad Case, and I believe we're not just building businesses, we're building people, we're building freedom, and ultimately, we're building the person we were always capable of becoming.